We've even started actually moving away from the term SEO when we speak to our prospect. We've been through the pain of losing a whale client, and I just decided that, we want to try and build a model where 40% of our revenue isn't reliant on one customer. Every single one of your customers has got one of the 5,000 GEO agencies that have popped up every day directly in the CEO's inbox. And whether it's the right way or not, like, they're coming for your business. Like, you need to understand, like, things are changing. They've changed. They've already changed. When you're a company which is smaller, agile, the moves you can make at the moment, the competitive advantage is absolutely unbelievable. It's very easy when things are going well to get complacent, but the worst time to be looking for more business is when you really need more business. I was going to start again tomorrow. Focus more on
Charlie Clark, thank you so much for joining me on the Agency Growth Club. We did a podcast, must have been 4 or 5 years ago, when I didn't even know how to spell business or didn't even know what SEO stood for. So pretty crazy getting you back on now, the amount of growth that you've gone through. So yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. I mean, coincidentally, I'm just around the corner from where that first podcast was. I'm back in Barcelona this week. And I was thinking about it. I was walking up the street today on the way, and it just, it reminded me. It was me and Mark, I believe, Mark Roth.
Yeah.
And things have changed. Same for you. I see everything building up. See the podcasts. It's been really good to see you grow. I've been watching in the background. So, nice to be back on.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, we did that. I think it was in like a hotel lobby, wasn't it? And there was people coming past, and we were like, every time we seen them, we were just like, oh, please, like, walk away. But awesome. Right. So first thing I want to get into, Charlie, is I seen recently you did a LinkedIn post about how you went off LinkedIn, right? Yeah. And a lot of, again, especially agency founders are like, right, you need to be posting on LinkedIn every day. It's the inbound engine, it's the pipeline, everything. But you went quiet on LinkedIn, and it ended up being the busiest quarter in Minty's 10-year history. So let's break that down, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, a background into that, it wasn't LinkedIn. I went off everything. I went off Instagram, LinkedIn. I just deleted it all off my phone I think it was in November last year. I just felt like, especially on LinkedIn, from a work side of things, I was going online, I was trying to post all the time, and I think a lot of people have this problem. You feel like you should always be posting, and then you start seeing like everything looks like it's written ChatGPT. The comments that I've responded to in ChatGPT, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm actually just done with this for a bit. I need a break. It was driving me crazy. So I just got rid of everything. I was out in Thailand at the time with a friend of mine who actually, he's like completely analog. He's not on anything. And he kind of like just inspired me on it. And it gave me back time. So like, so much more free time I had in my head each day. I still go on it now on the laptop, but I've not got anything like on my phone. It just brought me back so much time. I've got more time to think. I've been a lot less, just less inputs. You don't always need to be getting an opinion, everyone's opinion every single day. And what it enabled us to do is focus actually on the business. So I was looking at other marketing channels, like reaching out for speaking events, like working with the team to fix things operationally in-house. And it's been one of our best years ever. We just got the H1 numbers back through like last week, and everything from client retention to like profitability and revenue, everything's been fantastic. It's been the best year, and that's coming off the back of a couple of years ago we had a bit more of a tough year. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I'm back on social a bit now. Like, I'm doing the odd post. I had a little run down Barcelona beach this morning, and obviously put a little post of that on LinkedIn. But I'm just trying to be a bit more intentional rather than saying, I need to post every day to make an impact, and that seems to be working quite nice.
Awesome. I was expecting the selfie on the Barcelona beach, but we didn't get that. We just got the actual beach. But first of all, dude, congratulations on your best year. That's great to hear. Let's break down from highest priority, right? So you said you took time to focus on speaking events and operations. Let's just go through them, like number by like highest priority. What were the things that like moved the needle the most?
Yeah, so I can break this up into I think the most important thing and the biggest change is actually nothing to do with me in particular. It's been the team. Everyone from management down to kind of executives. The processes that have been being built in place, like forcibly removing myself from certain job decisions that I couldn't actually give my full energy to. Hiring, for example, before I've made not always the right decisions with this, and I'm busy. Like, everyone's busy, so I need to make sure that I've had to make sure that everything that I'm spending my energy on, I can give it 100%, and everything I can't do, that needs to be with the responsible members on the team. But they've been doing a fantastic job, building in client retention methods, real good progression packs for the team, like making sure that all of the benefits and everything we promised are getting kind of rolled out. So that's been one side of things. On mine, I actually did something a few months ago where I kind of rewrote. So I realized I was removing myself from a lot of these jobs, and I was kind of like, what is my job again? So I actually wrote myself out a job description again, like a job brief, like we would do for anyone on the team. And that's really, really helped, because now there's 3 things that I focus on. It's new business partnerships, getting the name out there. I guess kind of high level client activity with some of the, I guess, higher retainers that we've got. Not even just money wise, but more important retainers we've got. And I've also got support on kind of like the advertising side of the company as well. So the PPC, the SEO, I kind of give a top level strategic input on that as well. So focusing on that, not being at so many SEO events this year and going to more industry events has been really, really useful for us. Yeah, I've just been working on improving the service. It's all kind of, it's a lot of little things. It's all piecing together.
So you mentioned new business. I think I seen on LinkedIn that you guys have a wait list for like the first time ever.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that. How did you build out the wait list? Like what new business strategies are you guys doing?
Yeah, the team said to stop. They told us to stop taking clients on for another. We've just hired. We put three offers out for hired 3 more people this week. So that will change again. So we've got a sales team now. We're building up internally. We've been really nailing down like how the funnels work. So we've got our different engines. Of course, we've got the SEO organic side of things, the speaking event, and everything else we're doing. But like what we used to do before, I'd go speak in an event, I'll get a bunch of people want to sign up to something, and then I'd struggle to always get back to people on time. But we're nailing down those processes. We've refined our offering slightly. Well, not slightly, almost completely. I think a lot of people, again, this is something on LinkedIn where I decided to take a step back. Like, everyone's been talking about whether to call it GEO or AEO or whatever for the last year. And I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to just work on our service and try and actually improve it for our customers, speak to the customers about what they need to find. And we've just kind of rolled up everything we do now, from the content, the LLM visibility, the SEO side of things, the PR. We've wrapped it all up into kind of one service, which is like an organic growth service. We've even, started actually moving away from the term SEO when we speak to our prospects, and it's just resonated really well. I think the messaging on the website, the way we go out with, the way we talk at events, it's the biggest thing I think was, instead of arguing with all the other SEOs on what to call it, we actually went out to our customers. And I've been out, so I moved back to London last year. I've been speaking to people, going to non-SEO events, like working out like what actually people need. It's marketing 101 in a sense, isn't it? So again, just been building the product out, and it's made a difference for sure.
I love that. And okay, just one more thing on the wait list. When Minty has a wait list, does that affect your prices? Do you put prices up?
Good question. Not so much. Should do. But I guess the model we've built, we've kind of got a couple of packages we offer. Like, we do have some high ticket clients, but we're very much more of we want to have quite a lot of the mid-tier clients. That's kind of like our model, what it's been for quite some time. We've been through the the pain of losing a whale client when we were smaller, and I just decided that we want to try and build a model where we're not, where 40% of our revenue isn't reliant on one customer keeping me up on Saturdays and Sundays. So yeah, we're always pushing. I guess we're pushing our costs up like slowly, but it's nothing ginormous. You know what I mean? We're not increasing prices by 30-40%, because at the end of the day, like, you need to sell a product at the right price in order for it to, like, you can't just overcharge people. Well, you can, but they're not going to be with you for long because they'll find a better deal. So we're pushing prices up in accordance with inflation in the market, but yeah, we've never really been ones that are greedy to just try and get as much as we can.
And you mentioned, so yeah, I met you first when we were in Barcelona. So you've gone from Barcelona back to London. And Barcelona does have a lot of events, and it's got a lot of people in our industry over it. But first of all, why did you make that move? And secondly, like, have you seen the business grow from being boots on the ground back in London?
Yeah, we've seen massive growth. I often joke that I think I'm the only British person to move back to the UK in the last from Spain in the last year. But for me, it's been fantastic. Like, we've met each other. I talk to people. I can get amongst that. If I go, I can be at an event and kind of like pick up contacts and get to know people. I think the biggest difference it's made is what we spoke about before, is actually like understanding more about what people are looking for. Very easy in Barcelona, where it was, to be in not a bit of a bubble, so to speak, but it's quite easy to be in the expatriate bubble, or however you like to coin the term. But I think being back in London with real businesses that aren't all other tech businesses and SEO, like you're speaking to plumbers down the pub, or if you're playing paddle at the weekend, or in the sauna with someone that's like a physiotherapist. It's like, I never used to get those sort of like broader conversations as much here in Spain. So that's made a big difference. And I think also just when you're in a city like London, like you're just walking around and I guess it's the same if you're in New York or anywhere else, right? You just realize, like, okay, the world's a lot bigger than kind of like the SEO world that you just see online. And that's been a bit motivating for us as well, I think. There's so many opportunities in the city.
Yeah, I always love, if there's an event in London or I get asked to speak or whatever, I'm 100% saying yes to London. It took me quite a few goes. I actually wasn't the biggest fan of London like 3 or 4 years ago, and it took me a few goes. I think it was like the nicer areas I started staying in that I was just it's like the energy in London is great, and there's so many brands there. Like, everybody's there.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a fantastic city. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't regret moving back at all. But it's nice to have the benefit still to visit Barcelona like I'm doing this week, and catch up with friends and still, like, have that work relationship here as well.
Have you been doing more speaking events out in London, and if so, have they resulted in more new business?
Yeah, I've been speaking at a lot of more industry specific events, like legal events, healthcare events. That has been significantly different in terms of the reception you get, because again, you're talking to people that actually want to know and learn about the service, and it's new to them, where if I speak at an SEO conference, it's not. But yeah, it took me a long time to get into speaking. It's always something that, like, I think people will always think that I come across quite confident when they speak to me, but public speaking was nerve-wracking for me. It was for a long time. I've only just got to a point now where I'm actually a lot more confident doing it, but yeah, it's I'm speaking at Brighton SEO like last year, and they put us on the stage there, and I remember before I was so nervous, but as soon as I get up there, it's fine. So it's something that I wanted to challenge myself on, and build more. I mean, I was with Ashley Liddell when I was at Brighton SEO last week. I know you had him on recently. I was speaking to him before. He probably wouldn't have told. I was super nervous, but he was cool as a cucumber. Like, he went straight up there and smashed it. So I think some people just are more confident than others a bit, but I've been working on it, and I'm going to keep pushing it because I enjoy it now.
Yeah, you get a buzz after it, man. I'm the same as you. I'll not get nervous until the last 30 seconds before you go on, and then it's like, oh my god, the voices inside your head are like, oh, make a runner, nobody cares, all this, and then you get on, and it's like 20 seconds of talking, and then you're back to being like normal again. But
yeah, so true.
I'm the same. See, you mentioned, and I love it. You mentioned that you went quiet on the whole GEO versus AEO versus AI search, everything that's out there, and you went and chatted to your clients. What did you learn? What do they want?
Yeah, so everyone's boss is saying we need to rank on ChatGPT, we need to rank on LLMs, and it's something that what I realized is that a lot of companies over the last year were investing so much into not just AI visibility, but just AI in general. I think that was having a knock-on effect on budgets across the board. Was personally what I was seeing, but what I've seen now is that people have realized, and our customers have realized, that they can't run a whole SEO strategy with ChatGPT. They can't run the whole thing with Claude. They need support. But on the other side, they still want to rank on these LLMs. And the problem you've got, and this is something I always say, and I think the SEO industry, with good reason, are evangelicists in the way that they kind of, everyone wants to be able to push the message, and this is how things are done, this is how we do it, this is the right way. But the problem you've got is that every single one of your customers has got one of the 5,000 GEO agencies that have popped up every day directly in the CEO's inbox, and whether it's the right way or not, like, they're coming for your business. So you need to find out a way to be able to position that to your client, or your prospects, or you're going to lose them. You can't just say this is how it's always been done and this is how we'll carry on doing it, because someone else is telling them they're not, and it looks like. So the approach we've taken with it is, and what we've understood from our clients is, look, it's an evolving service. It is. I still think it's pretty much like, I'm in the camp where for me it's SEO. It's just, you cannot do GEO if you don't have the SEO foundations in place. You just can't. But there's just an evolution. It's the same as when we had mobile rolled out, or there's every few years there's a new change. This has been the biggest for sure, but what we have been able to do is say, look, we're going on this journey. We've been doing this for 15 years now. We're at the forefront of this every single day, right? So we've got the LLM visibility tools that we're starting to roll out. We caveat, these aren't 100%, but they give a baseline. What we're trying to do is say, look, we're with you on this. We're investing. We can work on building the visibility, but what you need to understand is that none of these tools yet are in a place where you're really accurately going to be able to, see the ROI on the investment. But we're going to help you get ahead of the game, whilst also focusing on what we know is still going to drive you revenue, drive you leads, drive you impact over that time. And it's worked well. It's, we just, all of our clients now, we've got this kind of GEO element that we're kind of rolling out with it. It's evolving each month, and I think just honest conversations are the best way to approach it. And also, like, reading the room a bit. Like, you can't just have your back against the wall saying that, like I said, this is the way things are always done, so this is how it's staying. Like, you need to understand, like, things are changing. They've changed. They've already changed. And if you're doing the same things you were 3 years ago, like, I just don't think you're going to be in business very long, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, there's so much to unpack on that. So as that added service, Charlie, do you charge extra on that, or do you kind of just put it into the retainer package that you currently have?
Yeah, we do. We do charge. We would try and keep it as one package, but we have a couple of our standard offering, so to speak, is a tiered system. So you get your foundations, then you get, of course, the outreach element, and of course the AI visibility side of things as well. So you can plug it all together. But we're trying to, in all of our calls, we're saying, like, look, it's important to have this. If you don't want it included, fine. That, of course, that will affect the deliverables and pricing. But if you want to be ahead of the game with this, like, this is the way it's moving, yeah, we should plug this in. It's more work, costs more for the tools. There's different elements to it, even though the fundamentals are the same. So yeah, it does cost more money, and it needs to be plugged in.
And what do you guys track on that? Because like attribution for that is so hard. Like it's the same with like a lot of things right now. You know, somebody could go to YouTube, they go onto your LinkedIn, they then go onto the website, they then could like research something on ChatGPT or whatever. How do you attribute to that, to the actual clients when you know 6 months down the line they're like, right, we're paying for this. Where are the results?
Yeah, the main metric that we're using at the moment is share of voice versus the competitors. It's something that we've always done for PR. We use Peak mainly at the moment. There's a lot of tools out there. I mean, my personal preference is I've got a good friend I've known for a few years that worked at Peak. I signed up for a demo and he saw my email come through and he was like, oh, he didn't even work in the industry before. So I just used them from day one. I've tried a few other tools. I love it though. I think for us, again, we always caveat with our clients, like we're tracking retrievals, but if you search for something, you're going to get a different result to someone else. And as we know, it's like, yeah, you're not always going to get the same result every single time with AI. So again, what we're doing is we're just looking for a baseline here, baseline share of voice versus competitors. That's what we're trying to build on. And the way we try and mitigate the, I guess, personalization side of things is we'll always try and, first of all, build, rather than just take your traditional keyword research like you would do with SEO, we'll build out an ICP. So we'll just try and get an ideal customer profile or multiple for the client, and from there, that's how we'd look at the type of prompts we want to track, cross-reference that with SEO data, and try and build out a bit of a model there. But it's as an effect, I think still with analytics tools out there at the moment, I mean, like no one's really seeing any massive impact in terms of conversion and sales from AI, but from a branding perspective, like that's the way I see it. It's just another layer of brand at the moment, discoverability. So if we can track that share of voice, that's something quantifiable we can report back with the SEO and everything else we're doing. And that's where I think the most value we can add, honestly, is.
Yeah. So you mentioned Peak, right? And I'm not saying this about Peak, but you've got, you know, Searchable and you've got Profound that are valued at crazy amounts of money, all for this AI search and getting ranked on LLMs. What's your thoughts on those valuations?
Yeah, I'm a big. I like my stocks and I like my shares. I think I'll be political in my answer. We're not just talking about any of these AI tools, right? Whether it's Peak, Profound.
Yeah, we're talking about the whole thing.
Fireflies, whether it's any of these tools. I don't think we're looking at anything like the .com boom that we had years ago, but I think the same principles are still in play, right? So when the .com boom happened, of course, all of these websites and businesses kind of crashed, but the fundamental technology behind it, what was driving the algorithms, the fiber optics, the cables, in this case, like the data centers, etc. Like I think that's where the real value is going to be. But I think it's out to question with a lot of these tools what you're going to be able to simply just replicate yourself. Like we just managed to get rid of a social listening tool that we were using. We were paying God knows how much it was for it. It was like over 10 grand a year. I built it in Lovable with a few APIs I built it on the train on the way to the airport the other week. And it's like, I mean, if I think for agency owners, freelancers, business owners, like I think the big companies, you know, if you've got a big cruise liner, you're going to struggle to, you know, change direction of the ship so quickly, right? But when you're a company which is smaller, agile, you don't have to go through so many decision makers. Like the moves you can make at the moment, the competitive advantage is absolutely unbelievable if you're taking advantage of it. And I know I'm going on a bit of a caveat here, but the point I'm trying to get to is that if you're able to pass that effectively, that efficiency onto your customers, if you're saving this money, get the cost right, I think that's where people are going to win at the moment. But yeah, I didn't want to go too off piece of your question there, but I hope I gave some kind of a political answer.
Yeah. So you mentioned lean, agile, right? So you've put out 3 offers for people to join your team at Minty. So what's changed in the last, 3 years ago from what you were hiring to what you're hiring for today? Obviously without AI, everything, is that baked into your interview process? What are you guys looking for?
Yeah, I think the use of AI is like non-negotiable. It's absolutely non-negotiable now. It's like, but the biggest thing we're looking for is like, sometimes it's the critical thinking side of things, someone that actually knows the fundamentals. It's a unique time at the moment where there's a lot of people on the market that have had that junior experience in office, and they're up to the stage now where they're like, it's kind of like pre-AI. So you've got those fundamentals baked in. So people that have had that experience, they've got, of course, the client-facing knowledge as well. Like, we ideally want people that have got that we can bring on board, that we can say to them, look, if you're able to work with X amount of clients, not from day one, but fairly quickly get up to speed, then that's the kind of profile we're looking at. But I think just in general, with the use of what we can do now, not just with AI, I just think in general, we're kind of moving all of our roles towards like organic search strategist rather than like a specific technical SEO or like a specific like link building or link builder, digital PR, etc. Most people can cover most boxes now efficiently, where before I don't really think they could. That's what's working for us. I'd imagine if you're a large organization or work somewhere like Apple, like you would still want like a dedicated technical SEO team. But yeah, for us, I don't want to say generalists. It still is a specialist, but it's more that role covers a lot more than what it would have done 5 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, I get you. I seen Apple just put out I think it was a new tech SEO role yesterday. I can't remember what the salary was, but it was something ridiculous, like great.
Yeah, one of my team keeps showing me that one. Yeah, I think it was about 280 grand a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. But you mentioned as well at the start that a few of the mistakes throughout your career with Minty was either hiring the wrong people, hiring too fast. You said that I got the philosophy of hiring slow, firing fast. Take us through that. What's changed in your hiring?
Yeah, biggest change is I'm not involved in it as much anymore. I've removed myself, I would say, completely from the stage up until maybe the final interview and the offer. It's worked really well for us in the past, where like I've kind of hired I want to say like I've hired people that I've kind of just met at events very quickly without going through due process, and it's worked well. But I think at the stage we're at now, like, of course, as you know from someone that does this so much, it's like that wrong hire at the stage we're at, not just financially, but more in terms of like, these people need to be looking after our clients, obviously be a collaborative member of the team. We cannot afford to be making those mistakes. So we put a really just a bit more of a solid process in place for it. The first stage interview, we always get so many applicants for any role we put out at the moment. It's impossible to go through them all, so we try and shortlist it down to 10 or 20 to begin with, and then we use this really good tool for like one-way video interviews. That is where we kind of filter out the first stages, because I'm not sure if you've used them before, but it's 5 or 6 questions, one-way video interview, and that just really enables you to be able to kind of clear down that list further. Some people don't join it, some people are late submitting it, even sometimes you go on a call and someone will be like laid on the bed doing the video interview, and it's those sort of things you can pick up with, because there's nothing worse going on a first stage interview and 30 seconds in, both of you realizing that this isn't going to be the right role, but then you've still got to stick in the interview for an hour. So that eliminates that side of things, and then we usually get it down to 3 to 4 people. We'll do a follow-up, and then what we'll do is a paid task. We do a paid interview task, and then that will be the final stage before when I'll come involved and just do a kind of final, are we happy with this hire, move forward. But we're trying to get the process down to like 3-4 weeks at the moment. Nice. That seems to work well. It's just time is always the biggest drain, I think, sometimes with hiring, especially with the amount of applicants you get. So any way we can make that more efficient whilst making sure that we're not, you know, wasting people's time and getting the right people through. It's that one-way video interview system to kind of, for the first stage, has been fantastic for us.
Yeah, it's I feel like especially my team could write a book on just 101 interview practices. Like you'd think that after, you know, 2 calls with my team, they vetted them, they're like, oh, these people are ready to go, they put it forward, and they might have the ability, but they show up, like we've had people show up at interviews like this and just sit back on the seat, and you're just like, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, answers and everything were great, but just like the way he got on, like, or whatever, and it's just like, you just kind of overlook those stuff. You're like, nah, there's no way they need to be told how to do an interview properly, but it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It is wild, but you'd be surprised how many people do it still.
And I think last time we were chatting, you were starting to sign clients over in the US, right?
Yeah.
How where did they come from? Was that through socials? Was it where did they come from?
So this has been happening for a couple of years. We've got quite a few clients over in the US now. It's growing every month. We won a couple of search awards over there last year. Over the last 2 years, we've won the US Search Awards, which has helped a lot of our marketing material. Been involved in more webinars over there. I've still never been to the US, and I need to get over there, which will happen at some point. But it's been a case of like our organic growth's grown there. We've been building partnerships. We've worked with a few of our clients that have referred us on to other people as well, which is, you know, you don't want to rely on referrals as an agency, but that's been really, really good for us. I think it's just been a compound effect of just doing good work for the customers, and it kind of, you know, reflecting in our case studies and how we can kind of promote that out there. But I love working with the US clients. They're busy, they're active, they pay. You got to do the work, but they'll be on your case. But I love it. They're right up my street in terms of a lot of the clients that we work with there. But I would say like Texas, Miami, Texas, Florida, and New York. That's like our biggest concentration of kind of customer base. So I think we're going to try to look at ways so we can kind of build that up a bit further. Now we've got the case studies in place.
Yeah, you need to get over to some events. You need to get boots on the ground over there.
Yeah, I know. Before the end of this year, that's the plan.
I love it. And Charlie, where do you see the future of searches in the next 2 years? Does Google still hold the fort, or are we optimizing for, 10 different answer engines?
Yeah, I think we've all seen over the past year as well. A lot of these LLMs are all using Google and Bing to actually return a lot of their results. I think Google have. At first I thought ChatGPT was going to kind of take over the spot, and then I made a bit of a prediction last year that I think actually ChatGPT are going to hit a wall and go crashing, which is kind of what's happening. I think Google, whether it's Google social, TikTok, or ChatGPT, I just think it's going to become more under the same remit, and I think people are just going to have to learn how to optimize for all of these different search engines, whether it is whichever one it is. I think the biggest challenge that we've got now as not just agency owners and brands is that we need an accurate way to be able to forecast, plan ahead, and put our strategies together, because a lot of the tools we've got out there, they're good, but none of them are kind of real fit for what we need to bring it all together. So I guess to answer your question concisely, I think Google's still they're going to be taking up a lot more market share. They're catching up again, but we need to keep all of these other new channels in consideration as well.
And so for Minty, right, let's just say, I know that you said you've got clients in the US all over the place, but let's just say your concentration was London, right? You've just moved back to one of the most competitive places to rank for. In terms of getting found on, AI, let's say your ICP is just putting in, best marketing agency, London for X, Y, and Z. How are you guys showing up on that?
I actually think we're up there in the top 3.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, AI is different, isn't it? ChatGPT. As I know that we were ranking like in the top 5 for search marketing agency a couple of months ago. I've not actually, sounds bad, I've not actually checked our own reports over the last month or so, but the team have been working hard on it. We're doing all right. We're doing well in London. Yeah, we're doing well. But we'll see. I still struggle on AI visibility, like I say, to put it all together accurately.
Awesome. And okay, so you guys have hit your biggest year this year. You're 10 years in the business. What's the future with Minty? What's the plan?
Yeah, it's a good question. Really enjoying it at the moment. Well, I just enjoy it, like, because a lot of people say, you know, would you ever be interested in like acquisition and these types of things? And we've had those conversations with people over the years. And the lessons I've learned from that, I've kind of built the agency, or building the agency with the team, to be in a position where like it is something what I'm not like the key kind of sticking point of the agency. That is something that can run without me. So we've always kind of had that option on the table, but I would never say never. But at the moment, I'm enjoying it. My work-life balance is good. Like, clients are good, team's good. We've got a lot of fun stuff going on. So for now, no. But I would say if a potential acquisition come on the table at some point, would be interested. But I think there's so much more we can do. I reckon we could, in the next few years, we could like double, triple further what we're working on. So we'll see. Never say never.
Yeah, I love that. I think having fun and actually enjoying what you're doing is like the most important thing if you just zoom out of it. So yeah, that's awesome. I had Jason Hennessy on for the second time on my podcast recently. So I had him on last year, and he was just running Minty Digital. He built this like 20 million plus a year. And anyway, he sold to private equity recently. And again, because a lot of our clients, Jason's one of our clients, but a lot of our clients in that space kind of just backlash, you know, selling to private equity, etc. So it's so interesting bringing him on the podcast and him talking about how his whole plan was, when he got acquired, was never to like leave, never to exit. He, just because he's always been bootstrapped, he wanted to have a partner that could come in with a load of money and just be able to exemplify everything that they've done. So he's now joined like the Herringbone Digital group, which is like the home services. They're buying up home services companies. So he's now going out and buying, I think they brought it to like 110 million revenue, 30 million EBITDA in the last year. Like it's bonkers. But so interesting just hearing more about all that stuff. It's so interesting.
Yeah, and I think a lot of agency owners, like, so I've been doing this so long now, I've got friends that have sold and I've seen the process, and like, it's great, but it's not always like the dream solution. I think that everyone's always thinks it will be. A lot of the time you're still locked in, so you can, you know, locked into a lot of terms and conditions and things you can't do afterwards. So I'm like, you know, the grass isn't always greener. I'm sure the payouts are nice, but yeah, you just gotta, I think sometimes you can just be chasing things without actually fully understanding like what the outcome of it is. And after seeing that firsthand over the last years, it's kind of changed my opinion on it.
Yeah, I fully get that. My last question for you, Charlie, is if you were to start Minty again tomorrow, knowing nothing else that you know, what's like the first thing that you would do?
If I was going to start again tomorrow, focus more on sales, focus more on bringing sales in, rather than the name of the brand or what the website looks like or things like this. It's like bootstrap, get out there, start talking, start building the brand, start doing sales from day one, because without the sales there's no business, right? And I think it's very easy when things are going well to get complacent, take your foot off the gas. But the worst time to be looking for more business is when you really need more business, because that's when you start making silly decisions or you can get desperate. So like, do not turn the marketing and sales engine off, even when things are going really well. Because worst case scenario, you have a wait list. On the other end of things, if you ain't got the clients, then that's a much bigger problem. So yeah, sales as always, get the clients through the door.
Okay, I lied. That's not my last question. I've got too much to. I need to follow up on that. You mentioned earlier that you hired a sales team. Is that right?
Yeah. We've got a salesperson, and
So
they're kind of integrated with the team.
What does that look like? Are they trying to close stuff that's coming inbound? Are they going fully outbound? What does that look like?
If most of it's inbound at the moment, a big part of it is qualification of customers and making sure before, again, like we're talking about efficiencies of times when it was me doing it, like there's a lot of people that aren't qualified to work with us or not the right fit. So a big part of this is qualification, making sure we've got a really clear brief in place. And then what happens then is that rather than me speak to the prospect, the salesperson will then follow up once they're qualified with one of our heads of department. And then what this eliminates is me being the bottleneck. Because then if I sell the client, if I sell the customer, then they normally still want to speak to me at some point or do this. And then I've never liked the idea of agencies. It's one of the reasons we don't have account managers. I don't like the idea of a salesperson selling something and then just disappearing completely and then going on to the account manager that you've only just met. So by bringing in the team on these proposals, building out the briefs together, again, you're just joining that up from day one. And then the prospects get to speak with who's working on the account throughout the sales process. It's just been a lot smoother. And they're not surprised when a brief lands on their desk because they're the ones that built it. So the qualification of inbound, we do some outbound, not much, but most of what we do from the events and speaking and marketing is working really well. They come in, get qualified, put into the marketing funnel, pass through collaborative call, head to department. Once qualified, from there we build a brief and go out with the proposals. That's kind of been the process that's working.
And what does the training look like at that? And the reason I ask that, because we do a lot of sales roles for our clients in the US, and they'll come from these big companies that have like these unbelievable track records. But because the founder has been doing that sales component for 10, 15, 20 years, it's the hardest thing to let go, and nobody does it like the founder. So how was that transition and training for you?
Well, that's the first thing you need to accept, that it's never going to be as good as the founder. So unless you want to be the person that's doing those sales forever, then you're going to have to stay on them. But I think you need to accept that they're not going to close as much as you, especially not in the first year. So the answer to that is, want to get more leads. That's something you can control. I've had them shadow a lot of calls to begin with. We have call recordings. We try and involve them in the service. What you also understand is that like selling SEO and selling search, it is a consultative sale. It's not like selling double glazed windows where you're just going to go in with a product and an offer. Like you can bring someone from one of these top companies and they don't have the industry knowledge and the nuance. If you're on a sales call with an SEO manager at a big company and your sales guy says something which sounds right, but as we all know with SEO, the nuances, you could say something about BR or social this or content this, and you say just the wrong thing, they'll know, they'll call it straight away. So by having them work on the relationship side, but bringing in the actual experts for the sales bit, that's where you can kind of bridge that gap. And just, you have to give it time. They're not going to probably get too much of a return on investment in the first month. They're going to make some mistakes. You just need to involve them in not just the sales side of things, but the team calls, the trainings, and just absorb it. And our sales guys now, they say he's got good enough knowledge of SEO to be able to have those conversations, at least from a starting point. So just make sure that first step, they're not going to sell as well as you. They're not. And you need to accept that, really.
Awesome. I love it. Charlie, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, really, really enjoyed every bit of that. If people want to follow you along, you're back on socials. So where can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn. I'm not on X at all anymore. LinkedIn's the place to find me, or mintydigital.com if you want to check out what we do. Yeah. Apart from there, maybe catch me at an SEO event from time to time.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're an agency owner that is wanting to scale and wants to continue bringing your business to new heights and doesn't want to put everything on pause for hiring and finding the best talent that's out there in SEO and paid media,
Well, that's something I can help with. I own a recruitment company that has specialized in both the SEO and paid media sector, and we work with 100+ businesses. So I'm going to leave 2 links below. There's no big pitch here, but if you want to talk over strategy and hiring and how myself and my team can find you the best A-player talent in both the SEO and paid media sector, then please book in, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you.